Hi, and welcome to my channel. Or if you're a returning subscriber, hi again. It's so nice to see you back here for another video. My name's Tess Lark, and today I'm going to show you how you can make this really lovely crushed velvet effect using epoxy resin and mica powder. As always, all of the materials that I used for this project will be linked in the description below, so all of that information will be down there for you. And let's just hop into today's video. My first step for this project will be to mix up my resin. So I've got a silicone measuring cup here. It has little increments labeled on the side, which makes it really easy to use. And I'm going to mix up 100 milliliters total. So I started out by pouring 50 milliliters of my resin, and now I'm adding 50 milliliters of hardener to that. When you're pouring your resin, it is really important to work slowly as the resin is pretty viscous, and so it takes a moment for it to level out and kind of be where it's going to end up. And when you're measuring out your resin, you want to make sure you get some exact measurements, because if you have more of one part or the other, you may have problems when it comes to curing your piece. After I have my resin measured out, I'm going to use a clean popsicle stick to mix those two parts of resin together, making sure that I'm doing a good job of scraping both the sides and the bottom of my container as I go. After my resin is thoroughly mixed, I like to let it sit off to the side for a few minutes. You can see some air bubbles coming up to the surface there, and then I'll hit that with my heat gun to pop those air bubbles before moving on to the next step. And my next step will be pouring this clear resin into my mold. And this silicone mold that I'm using today holds roughly 150 milliliters of resin, but I'm going to be pouring this project in two separate layers of resin. So I started with 150 milliliters, which should give me a little bit of playing room for my second layer. After I use my heat gun one more time to pop any bubbles that may be forming on the surface of my resin, I'm going to take a small piece of saran wrap and I'll be using that to make some texture. So just a little piece of saran wrap or cling wrap, and you want to lay that right down on top of your resin flush, making sure that you're not creating any air bubbles. And if you do get some air bubbles, you can kind of lift up the saran wrap from the side and hit it with your heat gun to pop any large bubbles that are forming, or if you have a ton of bubbles, simply pull up that saran wrap and start it over again. Once I've got my cellophane down nice and flat and flush with my resin, and I don't see any major air bubbles, I'm going to use my fingers to gently pinch the cellophane and the resin together and make a really cool textured pattern. And I'd also like to remind you guys, if you are finding this video to be valuable or useful to you in any way, please don't forget to give it a like. It's a free way that you can help out this channel. We're so close to 4,000 subscribers, and I'd really love to see this channel get there. So don't forget to give it a like. It not only helps out my channel a lot, but it also lets me know that I'm making content that you guys want to see from me. And I'll play with the cellophane a little bit more until I'm happy with how the pattern's looking. And once I am happy with how the pattern's looking, I'm going to go ahead and let this sit off to the side for at least 10 to 12 hours. I want it to be at least partially cured before moving on to the next step. So we're going to fast forward in time a little bit here, but just make sure that you're letting your resin cure for at least 10 to 12 hours before moving on. Okay, so my piece is pretty cured. It's definitely solid enough for me to move on to the next step. So I'm going to take a small pair of cuticle scissors and I'm going to go around the outside of my mold and just really carefully cut off any excess cellophane that's hanging over the edge. And there's some construction going on today. They're redoing our driveways in the apartment complex. So if you guys can hear that in the background, I'm really sorry. And just let me know if you can hear it. I had another recent video go up that there were kids playing around outside and other things going on, and you said that you couldn't hear it, so I'm kind of curious about the power of this little microphone. So let me know if you can hear the construction, and again, I apologize if you can. Now that I have that excess cellophane cut off from around the edges, I'm going to use a paintbrush and some mica powder. I'm using a chameleon mica powder by Let's Resin, and once again, I will have everything that I used linked in the description below, so if you're curious, that's going to be down there. But I'm just going to go ahead and paint an even layer of this pigment right along the top of my piece, making sure that I'm getting into all of those little nooks and crannies that we created when we used the cellophane, and making sure that I get the pigment right around the edges as well. I think that this project is looking really great already. There's already so much texture going on, the color's looking really nice, and I'm just making sure that I'm hitting all of those little nooks and crannies, and once again getting around that outside rim to make sure that I've got a really nice even layer of pigment before I move on to the next step. I really think that pouring some black resin on the back of this is going to make it pop. So I mixed up about 50 milliliters of resin, added some black pigment to that, And then I'm going to pour that black resin right on top of my piece. And I don't need too much resin for this, I just need enough black resin that's going to cover the entire back of my piece. But I did end up needing a little bit more resin for my piece, so in a moment I'll show you how you can mix pigments with your resin. So I went ahead and I heated this layer of resin up with my heat gun to pop any bubbles and to make the resin a little bit more liquidy and easy to spread. And I'm just lifting up the mold, of course wearing gloves, and using gravity to sort of spread out that resin. But it's pretty clear that I'm going to need another layer, so let's mix up some more. Because I needed a little bit more black resin, I went ahead and I mixed up another 50 milliliters of resin, and to that I'm going to add some alcohol ink by Pinata Colors. I'm using their Mattia Black, and as always, my kitty cat says hello. I don't know if you guys can hear her in the background. Let me know in the comments if you can. So I'm using a popsicle stick to really incorporate that pigment into my resin, and then I'll hit that with my heat gun before moving on. I'd also like to point out that adding too much pigment to your resin can mess with your ratios and make it so the piece doesn't cure correctly. So you definitely want to make sure that you're keeping your ratios to being about 90% resin to 10% pigment. Any more than that and you may have some problems with curing. And now I'm once again going to pour that black resin into my mold and use the heat gun to pop any bubbles and get that resin nice and warm so it's a little bit more liquidy and easy to move around. This footage is sped up, but it's important to work slowly when you're kind of tilting your piece around, as it's not the end of the world if you get some spilling over the sides, but if you don't have to sand your piece later, it's even better. So just working slowly to make sure that the resin is evenly spreading throughout this entire piece and getting into all those little corners on the sides. Because the outside rim of this mold is uneven though, I'm not worrying about getting into all of those little corners because I can use a popsicle stick a little bit later after this step and make sure that that resin is in all of those corners without risking it spilling over. So just like I'm doing here, using my popsicle stick to take that right outside the rim and make sure that all of that resin is in each one of those little pieces and corners. And I'd just like to take a moment to say thank you so much to everybody who shows up to my videos every week and leaves me uplifting comments and lets me know that you like what I'm putting out there in the world. It is really, really, really validating to hear that feedback from you guys, and I just wanted to say that I really appreciate it. So thank you very much for being here. After I've got my layer of black totally filled in, I'm going to use my heat gun once more, again to pop any of those bubbles. You can kind of see it in this footage here, but a heat gun is really your best friend as a resin artist. And after I've got all of the bubbles out of there, I'm going to go ahead and cover this up and let it cure completely before removing it from the mold. Alright, so I went ahead and I let the second layer of resin set overnight. So it's totally cured, nice and solid, and let's pop it out and see how it turned out. Oh my gosh, you guys. Look at all of that texture. Because of the mica powder, it actually does look like it's like soft. It almost looks like some crushed velvet that's been put in resin. It is really stunning. And I'll definitely make sure to take some footage of this in the natural light so you guys can see it a little bit better. But overall, I am so happy with this technique and how it turned out, and I can't wait to try it in a couple different colors. Make sure to let me know in the comments below if you've seen this technique before, or if there's any other resin art techniques on YouTube that you'd like to see me try as well. As always, thank you so much for being here, especially if you made it all the way to the end of this video. And if you did make it all the way to the end of the video, leave me some sort of blue emoji in the comments just so that I know that you made it all the way to the end. I really hope that this video inspires you to make something of your own today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!